Hello, welcome to the Fit Fatherhood podcast with Zach Bush. I'm Nathaniel Hovsepian. I appreciate y'all being here. If you're here live, if you're here watching in the future, thank you for checking us out. We are in week 3 of our 5-week foundational healthy habits challenge. We started with time and food audit. And you know what? Pause. How you doing, Zach?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Did you see? I had a lollipop like an hour ago, and it is kicking in.
Kicking in? Yeah, I know you were saying before we got on that like 6 o'clock lately has just been like hitting you hard. So,
Yeah,
I guess whatever it takes to get that
it
little
was.
jolt just to get you through to the end of the night.
I took the kids grocery shopping. I forget. We just were like running in for something, and they had the lollipops at the checkout counter, and they started pointing at it, and I was like, "Nah, we're not getting lollipops." And the cashier snuck us a couple.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I'm not going to say where it was at because I don't want to catch it again. Yeah, I know.
Get them fired.
But they've been sitting over there, and I was like, you know what? I almost had one last night or a couple nights ago while they were asleep. I was like, no, that's kind of mean. It's kind of messed up, Like, so I had it out and I let them lick it. I don't know if they've ever had a lollipop before, but yeah. So they were all excited, and then we had a little breakdown because of the lollipop because I didn't want to give them any more right before bed. But long story short, week 3 of the challenge. um, yeah, so we started with the time and food audit, and we were intentional about the way we progress the weeks. We wanted to start with what are we doing? What are we doing during the day? What are we putting in our mouth, food and drink wise? And then last week we started choosing goals and setting goals for ourselves. And this week we're going to be breaking those goals down into action steps. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to do some examples here using fitness, right? So the easiest way for me to do as an example is I want to lose 20 pounds. And we talked about SMART goals last week. So 20 pounds is pretty specific, right? I want to lose 20 pounds. Now, what aspect of that is measurable? Well, this number on the scale, right? I can easily track where my weight is during this period of time. Is it achievable? Losing 20 pounds? Well, if I'm 100 pounds, maybe losing 20 pounds isn't achievable. But if I'm 250 pounds, yeah, it's probably pretty darn achievable. And then is it relevant? Is it relevant to what my overall goals are? Yeah, I want to be healthier. I want to be more fit. I want to be able to go play sports with my kids for a long period of time. So yeah, it's definitely relevant. In my opinion, one of the most important parts of setting the goals is it like making it time sensitive. So it, I don't want to just lose 20 pounds. That's vague ish. I want to lose 20 pounds by March 31st. So end of the quarter 1. Now, on the times aspect, is that reasonable? Is it reasonable for me to lose 20 pounds by March 31st? Depends on where I'm at, right? If I'm like really, really overweight, yeah, it's probably pretty reasonable. If I just make some small changes, it's going to be pretty easy for me to lose 20 pounds. Now, if I'm relatively fit already, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to lose 20 pounds. If you need any help with coming up with a time or like really honing in, that's what we are here for. That's what the Facebook group is, the Fit Fatherhood Facebook group, and even better, our school community is for. So come and lean on Zach and I to help you craft a goal and to help you set these action plans in place. So now once we have this goal, I want to lose 20 pounds, let's just say by March 31st. What are we going to do on a daily basis? Now, that's the real goal, to be able to achieve the 20 pounds. I don't know if we've said it in this series before, but if 2 people set the same goal, I want to lose 20 pounds by March 31st, and one person doesn't put any action plans in place and is just going to go with the whim, and the other one just says, I'm going to go out and walk 20 minutes every single day, who do you think is going to crush their goal? The person that's creating a habit around their goal, the going and walking 20 minutes every single day, is going to be the one that knocks out their goal, because that other person is going to go to the gym on one day. They're going to be all gung-ho on day 1. They're going to get squats in and they're going to do bicep curls, and then they're going to be super sore the next day. Maybe they show up to the gym and maybe they go walk on the machine But then on day 3, they're going to roll out of bed. They're going to be not feeling so great. And because they didn't actually put any action plans into place, they're not going to actually take any action that day. And that's how you fall off the wagon really quickly. And your New Year's resolution goal, what is it, 2.5 weeks in, or that's the
2
second
weeks.
Friday?
Yeah, I think we're past that technically, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you
So
if you've quit already, you've probably
yeah,
stayed quit.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not too late
That's
to
all
jump
right.
back in.
Yeah, come join again. Come join the community. We're growing really fast. We had a like 25% growth just today alone. People that are interested in coming in and being a part of a group that are all like-minded, busy dads trying to make changes in their health and wellness. So that's what we're here for. Um, so that's the crux of our goal setting. It's really taking your goal, which is really just a heading on our compass. It's a direction that we want to head, and putting action plans into place. We can do this. This is what we're talking about here in Fit Fatherhood, but inside our businesses, inside our relationships with our kids. Like, hey, I want to be a better dad. It's tough to make that really a kind of a smart goal, but what are the action plans that I can put into place that would help me be a better dad? Well, I got to spend more time with my kids. Okay, cool. Well, I got to be more present when I'm spending the time with my kids. That means putting away the cell phone, right? Or all the other things that distract us. Like, what's the most important aspect of being a good dad is being present with your freaking kids and actually being there when they want you there. So that is the end of my spiel. I've said it, and I'm probably going to say it many, many times on the Fit Fatherhood podcast, is I tend to ramble. I think I did a pretty good job there, though.
No, you were concise. You hit a lot of points. I want to
Yeah.
reiterate a couple of things that you mentioned. The first one is kind of beginning with that end in mind. Like, what's the not only what am I aiming for, like what's that heading that I'm looking
Yeah.
for, but like why am I heading there, right? Because if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that reason, that's going to be another reason that you do fall off or don't
Yeah.
stay consistent with what you're doing. So that's the first one. The second one you talked about was coming up with a plan. What's the saying? If you fail to plan to fail, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you need to have that set up in order to be successful. You need to know what you are doing every day or every so often, every certain number of days and certain number of times, and being specific with that. Because if you leave it up to kind of just motivation and just, oh, I'll figure it out as it goes, things are going to get in the way and it's going to be easy to push it back. Whereas if you have a plan, it's easier to kind of get up, get moving, doing whatever that is. And then what goes along with that is keeping track of, all right, this is my plan now. How often am I doing that? Am I completing that? Right. We have a goal tracker that we created that you can put in with the things that you want to hit. Right. The goals are the actions you're doing every day. So this is the action I want to do. This is the number of days I want to do it. And then checking them off as you do it, or don't check it off if you don't do it. The biggest reason that that's important, the planning and then setting it up and tracking it, is after a month, each week you look at it, but after a month, you can look back and say, where am I towards my goal, right? We said 20 pounds by the end of March. So, a month from now, it's the middle of February. So I'm halfway there. What results have I seen? Did I drop 10 pounds? Cool. Like, let's look back on the actions that I took. I was hitting my 4 days a week of exercise 90% of the time. Okay, that's probably why. Whereas if, hey, I only lost a pound, but I look back and it's like, hey, I only went 3 days a week to the gym or exercise 3 days a week, maybe 20% of the time. Okay, maybe that's the problem, right? I'm not being consistent. Why am I not being consistent enough? And how can I increase that consistency? Is it the days of the week? Is it the time? Is it the plan that I had isn't working? So you can go back and there's data, there's information to kind of not just be like, oh, I suck, I didn't hit my goal yet, or I'm not close to my goal, but it's like I can look back and see why. And again, that's where a group like ours will come in, and that's where we come in. It's like, I don't know what's realistic. Cool, let's talk through it. Let's figure it out. We can help you with that. I don't know what my plan should be. I don't know how often I should go to the gym or drink this much water. Cool, let's figure it out. Let's set it up. And then once we had that all set up and figured out, now we can hold you accountable. Like, hey, how'd it go this week? I know you were working on XYZ thing. How did that go? And we can have that dialogue. And now you're going to go, oh shit, they're going to ask me how things are going. I don't want to be like, I didn't do anything. So that's a couple of points just to kind of
we've talked about the kind of hidden accountability before, but having the actual accountability is super helpful too. Like knowing that somebody out there is kind of holding my feet to the fire. Hey, I said I was going to do this 4 times a week. Okay, did you? No. Okay, well, why the heck not? Right? Okay, get out of the group. No. But the second part of week 3, right? We're trying to build the habits that are going to last a long time, but we're also doing a challenge as well, which is adding in some exercise, some movement this week. So we did the time and food audits in week 1. Then we talked about goal setting in week 2, but we also added, hey, how much water are we drinking? Like actually tracking just water intake. And now we're adding this week, you still should be tracking your water intake, because now we're adding in exercise. If you're not already getting exercise, let's start getting out and doing something. So this is something that you're very, very passionate about, Zach. So I want to I'm going to zip it. I'm going to throw away the key.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't do that.
so I mean, exercise is obviously super important. We know that. But I think what gets lost is people go from not going very often or not going at all to going probably way too much, like turning it on a dial from 0 or 1 to 8 or 9, and
Mm,
you get sore that first day, and so you're like, oh, I literally can't move the second day, so I'm going to take that break, and then maybe I'm back in for the third day, and then I'm really tired again, and I skip 2 days this time, and those breaks get longer and longer, and you just burn yourself out. So, I think everybody's got a different capacity for jumping into exercise. The one example I used last week on the video call that I did was, like some people just like beer right away. Like they have that first sip and like, oh, this is great. This is amazing.
yeah.
They're a beer person. That's how they are. And it's easy. Whereas somebody else is like, oh, it took me a couple of years to like, I kind of liked it, but like now I'm really a connoisseur of like IPAs. Like they're my thing. And sometimes it just takes a little while trying different types of beers to kind of figure out what you like and identify as that kind of person, which is, that example may be poor because it's like literally the opposite of like getting healthier and fitter is drinking beer,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of something that I think everybody can relate to. Some
Yeah.
people just like to exercise. They like the mental push and the physical push. I'm one of those people. I just always have enjoyed doing it. Growing up playing sports, never really stopped. So like I'm fortunate in that aspect, but the workouts I'm doing, somebody shouldn't look at me and go, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing that. Right. So like, how do you get started exercising if you haven't done anything in a while, or if you've done a little bit, right? Is I like to think of it as a dial, and I had a slide on the thing I was
Mm,
doing last week
yeah.
show it, but it had a different scale of 1 to 10. One might just be like, hey, I'm going from nothing to what's the next step up. And that might be like, I'm going to park my car on the other side of the parking lot at work and walk all the way in. And that's all I do. That's the only change I make. Maybe it adds an extra 10 or 15-minute walk across the parking lot, depending on how big it is. But that's the biggest difference. And I do that for a week or two. And then maybe I dial that back up a little bit more. All right, now I'm walking to the office across the parking lot and I'm taking the stairs everywhere and then dialing it up more. All right, maybe now I'm adding one day a week of a 30-minute extra walk or a 30-minute, exercise routine once a day. Like just dialing it up slowly over time
Yep.
because you don't want to burn yourself out. And
Yep.
it took, however long it's been, maybe years since you've gone to the gym. It took you years to get out of shape. And guess what? It's going to take you years to get back into shape. So don't rush it the other direction too.
Yeah. It's easier to get out than it is to get
Yeah.
back in. And you mentioned the not comparing us to you or to anybody else. Like this is something that's even tough for me right now, because inside the school community we've got a leaderboard going, and right now it's it's a point. You get on the leaderboard for having done 20 minutes of exercise, and then you get 2 points for having done 45 minutes or more, a max of 2 points at the 45-minute mark. So we don't just have people that are like, I exercise for 4 hours a day and then they win the week. But I typically don't get 45 minutes of exercise in. And so I'm going to look at people that are like, yourself, that get up and go to the gym for 45 hour every single day, and like, oh man, should I be doing more? That it doesn't fit my lifestyle. It doesn't fit the lifestyle I have right now. And so I get 10 to 15-minute hit every morning, and then typically like a 20, 30-minute walk maybe in the afternoon. It was freaking snowing today, of all things, in South Carolina. So we still went out and I had it on the calendar. I'm like, I'm going for a walk. It's snowing. Like, let's bundle the heck up. My hands were like little icicles by the time, because my snowboarding gear's up in the attic, so I had these like cotton mittens on. But beside the point, like I'm not comparing myself to anybody else that's in the community that's posting what their workouts are, because I have my thing going. I'm sticking to what I have. Like my goal is every day, at least do my 10 to 15 minute hit in the morning, high intensity interval training. And I just do high intensity training. I don't do intervals. I just do 10 to 15 minutes of freaking burpees and mountain climbers and all the things. That's what gets me going. But I got on a little tangent there, and I'm gonna fall asleep now. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, the comparison is the biggest. It's a thief of joy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Like, I like to be a little competitive with things because it does push me a little bit harder. But
Yeah.
it's still ultimately, am I better than what I did yesterday, or am I being consistent with
Yep.
what I said I was going to do? And if I can do that, then cool. I can try to ignore as much as I can what other people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I almost came in and like I have kettlebells. I was like, I'll just get 10 minutes of kettlebells and that'll be my 45 minutes for the day. But then Hope was laying on the floor and I'm like, oh, I'll play with Hope. I haven't seen her for a while. Okay, dad time. Do you have anything else to add to that? That seems pretty.
No, not that. I
Yeah,
mean, we talked, we mentioned a couple of things, the Facebook group, the Fit Fatherhood Facebook group. If you're looking for support, just free group, come in, talk about what you need, what you want to improve on. It would just, again, accountability. We're giving out information. We have a call after this that you can come in and join. It's kind of just reiterates a lot of this stuff, but we can dive into more specifics as well. And then we have the school community if you're looking for that next step level up on accountability and the challenge and resources and all that stuff. So join any of those, or if you want to reach out to either of us, have any questions on anything, definitely don't hesitate to contact either of us.
Yeah. And we talked about walking. It's just it's an easy, no barrier of entry. Well, there's low barrier of entry to walking, but for a lot of the country right now, it is snowing outside. If you don't have any ideas of what you can be doing inside the house, jump into the coaching call immediately after this or any other Tuesday of the week for the free Facebook group community, and we'll talk through some exercises that can get you started. The link for the Facebook group should be in the show notes at some point. If not, it's been going across the banner there the whole time. Fit Fatherhood Facebook group. It's a community for dads. I appreciate y'all for being here, present live in the present and in the future. Hope to see you in the Facebook group.